Hello and welcome to the Rock Your Voice podcast. Vocal coaching tips that will transform your voice, interviews that will inspire, industry guidance, and so much more. Without further ado, let's get on with the show. Hello and welcome to day 3 of the 12 days of vocal magic. I hope you've been enjoying the series so far. Day 1 was connecting with your genuine sound and finding your genuine sound as a singer and an artist. Day 2, we looked at the science behind a warm-up and why a warm-up is important and how to tailor it for you. And today we are looking at creating stage presence that rocks. So there's many things to consider here. And this, I want you to take into account where you are at as an artist right now. So let's look first at sort of emerging artists, beginners who are playing more like open mic stages, coffee shops, that kind of more of a sort of entry level stage, because it's very different once you get to a bigger stage where you've got the big lighting rig and you can't even see who's in the audience, and you've got in-ear monitors and you can't hear who's in the audience. So very different factors to consider. But for those of you who are just sort of getting going, I want you to really think about when you step on stage, how you'd like your audience to feel. And there are these things called mirror neurons. And this is why we cry when we watch a sad movie, because you see the person on the screen is sad and then you feel sad because we have mirror neurons that reflect the emotion and stuff. So you want the people in the audience to feel, I'm assuming, kind of good and enjoying and connecting. I mean, you might want them to feel sad when you're singing a sad song, but to connect with the emotions that you are bringing to the stage. And I'll tell you this right off the bat, no audience member wants to see anyone on stage fail. If they do, they're a weirdo and a meanie pants, and we don't like them, so they're not even worth considering. And that is something that really holds us back. And tomorrow I want to look at performance anxiety, and we will dig deeper into this. But just remember, think of it from the other side of the stage. So take away the fact that you're about to go on stage and you're going to perform, but think about how you feel when you are in the audience and someone else comes on stage. You want to feel a connection to the music. You want to feel like you've heard something that's like going to change the way you feel about music or something. You want to feel inspired and energized and be like, this is cool. This is 3.5 minutes of my life that I've really enjoyed, not 3.5 minutes I'll never get back, or 3.5 minutes of watching someone struggle and be uncomfortable. You want to feel like you're part of an experience for someone who's up there and to enjoy it. So when you are up there, your job is to make the audience feel kind of comfortable, have fun. So one thing I'll say is when you get up there, make sure that you are feeling comfortable, because again, it comes down to those mirror neurons. And if you're feeling uncomfortable, the audience is going to feel uncomfortable. So set your space. Like if the venue has given you this ridiculously high stool and you're wearing a teeny tiny short skirt and it's like, this is going to be real uncomfortable, find seating or find a setup that feels appropriate and comfortable to you. Don't, if you want to stand. If you want to sit, but make sure you've got comfortable options for doing so, and make sure that your mic stand is set up correctly. There's so many times when I've seen an artist go up and they just feel like they're nervous and they don't have time. They don't take time to set their mic stand, and they end up singing kind of crouched over or looking up like Liam Gallagher, like reaching their neck up to sing and reach the mic. And just make sure that your setup is really nice and comfortable. Make sure the stage feels comfortable. Make sure there's no like death traps anywhere, like cables and things that you're going to trip over, especially if you're wearing heels and stuff. Just analyze your space and take the time to set it up. It's going to feel like you're taking hours, but it's probably just 15-30 seconds to just make a few adjustments that are going to make the next 3.5-4 minutes, whatever, much more enjoyable for you and the audience. Now as well, I want you to take into account, if you play guitar, I want you to think about your tuning, because if you get on stage and you play the first chord and it's out of tune, please take the time to tune your guitar. I mean, ideally you've done this all before you get on stage, but sometimes if you've got new strings, if it's hot, cold weather, if you bought your guitar in from the cold to a really stinking hot venue, just be consistent with tuning your guitar, making sure it's ready for the performance. And if you get on stage and it's out of tune, do not feel bad if you have to take those few moments to tee it all up, get it ready, because honestly, an audience would much rather sit through that than a whole song that's out of tune. And that's just painful for everyone. And if your ear isn't that great yet, please just have a tuner on your guitar that's going to show you like where you're at as you're going, because that is key. That is something that's really, really painful, and that really shows a novice performer right out the gate. So please, 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 if you are a guitarist, make sure you got your tuning under control. Other than that, just making sure everything's set up, everything's comfortable, you're feeling confident in your space, because that's going to come across to the audience. Now, a lot of times you'll hear, make eye contact. And if that's awkward for you, please do not intentionally just make eye contact. Don't stare at people for the sake of staring at people. It's weird and it feels uncomfortable if you're in the audience. Now, if it's comfortable to you, or if you know people in the audience and you can share like a casual smile, or just if you catch a glimpse of someone who's really enjoying it, give them a smile back as like a thank you for the support. And if it's genuine and if it's real, then go for it. But if it's like, I've been told making eye contact builds communication with my audience, and then you just stare at someone and it's weird and awkward, don't do it. Don't do it. Just look out to the room if you want to look out to the room, or go into yourself if that's how you perform. Do what feels genuine and natural to you, because that's what's going to transition across to the audience as most confident. Okay, so do what feels most natural, what feels easiest, what feels most, what makes you feel good on stage. Get into the music. Don't be preoccupied with what the people in the room are thinking about you. Just sell your music. And that sounds, I don't like the sound of that, but get into it. You're there to share the music. You're not there to necessarily make friends. But if you share the music genuinely, you're going to make friends and fans. Whereas if you're like, hey, look at me, be my friend, be my fan, I'm entertaining, that's also kind of obvious to see through as well. I'd love for you to do a little project, actually. Take a moment and write down, if you had whatever budget, so like your dream team, if you had the best MD, you had the millions of dollars for the stage setup, the lights, the sound, in-ears, the monitor system, whatever it is, pyrotechnics, whatever. Maybe you're just I get on stage with my acoustic guitar and I sit down and it's all chill. That's awesome. If you have big dreams for a big stage show, write that down. Like, I want you to write down and imagine what your ideal stage show will look like that matches your brand, matches your sound, fits the vibe. I always like to refer to the MTV Unplugged, because they had very different artists, from like Bon Jovi, Alanis Morissette, Alice in Chains, but the vibe and the setup and the brand was always the same. It was always kind of like the different level things covered in hippie kind of style throws and stuff with candles everywhere. It was all super chill. But the brand was always the same for whatever artist came in, because the style of that series was, they're going for the same thing every time. Now, think about your brand, your visuals, how you want to be on stage, what that looks like. And again, it's fun when you're a beginner to just be like, okay, let's imagine there is no bank account tied to this. I can create whatever I want in my imagination, because this is where you're going to start developing things that match who you are as an artist. When you have these ideas and you write them down, they can start to become a plan. They can be things you can work towards. And if you're in Canada, you might be lucky enough to apply for funding that can actually get you this set or this branding kit or whatever it is you need to present yourself properly on stage. If you have questions about funding, please reach out. I know there is funding too in the States and in the UK, but please research funding and grants for musicians wherever you are, because I bet you can find something. There's always an arts council somewhere that wants to support you, so do have a look. So write down these big ideas, because if you don't have them clear, you're never going to bring them to life. So imagine your setup, imagine your stage. Is it just you? Is it you and 25 dancers? Is it you and like 5 other musicians? Do you have drums, bass, guitar? What does this dream look like? Okay. The other thing is, you don't want to confuse your audience and be like, okay, I've got dancers all of a sudden, and then it's like really chill, and then it's like this and that and the other. Or you want to have consistency and flow for every show. Now, this is where Taylor Swift is a genius, because she straight up owned it and called it the Eras Tour. And it's like, 1 minute I'm going to be doing folklore, folky stuff and all like la 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 la. And then I'm going to be doing like this banger pop stuff. Then I'm going to be doing kiddie country. I don't know, kiddie country is a little offensive, but like, she was a kid when she was singing that, guitar stuff. Anyways, I digress. But yeah, she literally owned it and is like, I'm going to take you on a tour through the different eras of my career. So if you want to own it, you own it. Be like, this is this part of the set. This is that part of the set. This is where we're going on this journey and this big adventure. But make sure whatever you set up fits your brand, fits who you are as an artist, and looks kind of cool on stage, and you feel comfortable and good and genuine about it. Okay. If you set yourself up to look a certain way or be a certain way and it isn't genuine or true to who you are as an artist, it doesn't fit your sound, it's going to be uncomfortable on stage because you're going to be faking it. You want to get up there and be genuine and real. Also, if you do make mistakes, own it. And then if you need to start again, or if you need to pause, just reset, whatever. Like, if we're doing coffee shop gigs, if you're doing open mics, you're not going to get fired because you're not getting paid anyway. You're doing the venue a favor. You're putting bums in seats and people are buying the drinks and spending time in someone else's venue, and you're doing them a solid. So make sure that this experience is good for you, and make sure that this experience is beneficial for you for learning and getting used to, like, maybe the sound is not so great. Maybe the room is like really loud. Everyone's just talking, just getting used to these different situations and such, which is going to lead me into like a bigger stage. So if you are lucky enough to be on a bigger stage where there's big lights and you can't even see who's in the crowd, so you can't even really engage with people that much, and if you do have the authority and the time, you can always ask for the lights to go up so you can see the room and see what's going on and feel the energy, feel the vibe. If you do have in-ears, take a moment to take them out and feel and hear what's going on around you, or make sure that you have that extra sound that's going to be boosting the room sound into you from time to time so you can hear what's going on in the room. But take that time to connect with the room and the space so that it's not too insular. And there is a lot of focus on, again, like I said, the eye contact and the connecting with your audience. But you can connect with your audience through your music by going a little bit introverted. If you really get into yourself, if you do close your eyes, if you do just really get into the music, that's going to resonate with your audience. Staying true to what feels right and what feels good for you on stage is going to allow you, very much like episode 1, to connect to that genuine performance style, like your genuine vocal style. So I'd encourage you to maybe try recording yourself or practice in front of a mirror and see if you have any quirks or things that show up that might be your signature performance style. So I would absolutely have a look and see if there is anything specific that you're doing that is like, boom, that's my signature move. That's my performance thing. And don't try and iron out things that aren't, normal that you see. Like if you see something like Joe Cocker, for example, everyone knows what Joe Cocker looked like on stage. And if he didn't do that, it'd be really weird. It'd be like, what's wrong with Joe Cocker? So allow yourself to explore and be who you are on stage. Okay. Lots of different things to think about. We're going to dig even deeper into this tomorrow when we look at performance anxiety, because a lot of this crosses over and about being genuine and committing to your genuine sound. Also think about if you're super high energy and you love to bounce around on stage like Chris Martin, and you're just like, go, go, go. And that's your thing, lean into it. Don't restrict yourself. Don't hold back. Now, if you're more stiff on stage, you're not used to owning that space, sometimes it can really help to choreograph that. Like literally map it out and be like, this word, I'm going to take the mic out the stand. This word, I'm going to step left over here. This line, I'm going to move across the stage. This line, I'm going to bring it into myself. Think about choreographing it a little bit. Now, high-end performers always will choreograph their shows. Chris Martin probably not, but at least he knows where on the stage he's bouncing off to. So just kind of have a plan, and that's going to help you be more mobile on stage and not locked in and restricted. And make sure all of these movements are not hindering your vocal mechanism. So don't be doing any weird things with your neck, your shoulder, whatever, that's going to block the flow for your vocal. But just have fun letting your body move and be free. Also, it helps if you do have a band to make sure that your harmonies are all really locked in. Make sure everything's really good. You all know what's going on. Practice, not only technically just to kind of be like, yeah, we're going to practice our tunes and then we're going to go do a show. Practice your show like a show. Like really run through it. How is it going to look on stage? How's it going to feel on stage? And I do VIP days with bands where we get together and we work, like we lock in the harmonies and we lock in the movement and how things are going to look on stage. So it's just not a stagnant, yeah, we stand like this for an hour and a half. Really bringing in some performance elements, movement, building confidence, making sure everyone sounds great. And sometimes too, if you're in a band and maybe someone's not nailing their harmonies, you don't want to be the bad guy that's like, hey, Barry, you're sounding a bit off today and yesterday and last week still. So sometimes having an outsider be like, okay, let's work on this, let's tune it, let's just tweak this, and then let's make you go from there to sounding like the friggin' Eagles. So yeah, sometimes that can really, really help. So if you're interested, please reach out, because I love doing VIP days with bands. But yeah, other than that, like, make sure that you're practicing things like a performer. Do your technical, do your run-throughs of like just the band rehearsal and the forms and everything, but then do some run-throughs that are like, let's practice like we're performing, like this is the show, and make sure that you try all that out. So tune in tomorrow. We're going to look at performance anxiety and how to overcome it. I am excited for you for that, and stay tuned for more. Got lots to come. Have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me for the 12 days of Vocal Magic. Now, the new year is just around the corner, and with that, I have new vocal programs just for you. I'm super excited. The VIP program is kicking off again in January. I only open the doors to this twice a year, and VIP is all about voice, industry, and performance. Now, we've got the Emerging Artist program kicking off. It's 8 weeks of live training with me, and we cover things like songwriting, marketing, branding yourself as an artist, copyrights and royalties, registering, streaming, releasing new music, pitching for gigs, media prep, all of the things that you need to know as an independent emerging artist. So if you are just taking the journey from hobby singer into emerging artist, this is the course for you. I will put the links in the show notes. Now, also, if you're just starting out, I have the beginner singer VIP course as well. That one is going to take you from the shower to the stage in no time. So whether you just want to learn how your voice works, how to get the best from your voice and have confidence in it, or if you do want to start doing things like open mics, getting on stage, singing karaoke with even more confidence, this is for you. As always, the weekly vocal workout, you can jump in and join at any time. And I do have the High Performance Coaching Club, which also includes live training with me as well. You'll also get access to the entire weekly vocal workout back catalogue too. So check it all out. The links are below. Enjoy, and I'll see you again tomorrow.